What's up, everybody? This is Rashid. Welcome to another episode of Ages and Stages, the podcast. It's a special edition tonight. It's fellas only tonight. It's all guys. It's a guys panel tonight. So, ladies, I hope you got your notepad, your notebook, whatever. If you got your voice recorder, if you want to hear the inner thoughts of men when we're chilling, when no women are around, when we're at the barbershop hanging, we're talking, have our guys talk, tonight is the night. We're going to reveal it all. No holds barred. We're going to chop it up. We're going to act like you're not even there. We're going to be in the barbershop. That's why I call it Guys Barbershop tonight. So thank you guys for joining. We're going to let a few people get in. My guys are sitting. They're ready to go. They're in the green room. I'm about to add them. We're about to go right into it. So again, thank you guys so much. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to me and Simone's channel. We thank you guys so much for all your love and support, and we're going to continue to do it as long as y'all ask for it. So thank you once again. You guys raise your hand if there's any type of audio issues or anything going on, because I'm going to be engaged in the conversation, and we're just going to try to get it popping. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you guys so much. Y'all been asking for this, so it's time to get it. We're going to go here real quick, and let me see. Oh, I see somebody got their notepad out. I got a bunch of questions. Thank you all for sending in the questions. From on the YouTube, on the Gmail. If you don't, for future topics and future discussions, agesandstagespc@gmail.com. So everybody's here, everybody's ready. Let's go ahead and let's get it in. Well, hold on, y'all know I like my hold on. Where's my If y'all watched me before, y'all know I like my sound effects. So let me find my sound effects. Okay, maybe not tonight. All right, let's go. All right, let's bring my fellas in.
What's up, baby?
Fellas.
How goes it?
How's everybody doing tonight?
Pretty well.
So thank you guys for joining me. I don't know who that is behind me right there, but anyway, thank you guys for joining me so much. We got Walter in the building from Ready to Love, DC, the most recent episode most recent season that just went off. Thank you, Walter, for joining us. We also a DC member of Ready to Love. And we also got the OG, my guy, my castmate, Chef Edwin Henderson of Ready to Love. What were we on? What was the name of ours? Last Resort.
Last Resort.
Right. And then I got Frank joining us as well. He's also from the DC season of Ready to Love. And Jay's going to be joining us here in a minute. He's finishing up with a client also from Last Resort. So thank you guys for joining us. I'm going to give you a hand clap for joining us. I appreciate it tonight. I don't have my sound effects. So when I reached out to all these fellas, I told them what the gist of the conversation was, and nobody shied away from it. Everybody's here to do it. So I thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, man, thanks for having me.
Download the Domino's app today and become a piece of
Domino's app.
Cheers to my boys up there. What's up, Walt? What's up, CP?
What's going on, Frankie? How you feeling, baby?
I'm well, gentlemen. Everyone, is a pleasure to talk to you tonight.
I keep y'all as well, man.
Yeah. Right. So I haven't met.
Pleasure meeting y'all.
Yeah, for sure. So I've only met Corey in person. Me and Frank and Walter have exchanged text messages on the phone. So glad to finally meet you guys and see your face and all that good stuff. Hold on, we got Jay ready to come in. There we go. Another OG, Ready to Love OG, Jay in the building.
What it do, baby? Y'all good? What up, fellas?
What's up, player? How you feeling?
How you doing,
Man,
Jay?
I'm just trying to get it how y'all get it, bro. That's all. You know what I'm saying?
So that's what up. The whole crew is here. If you don't know, Jay was also on me and Edwin's season from Last Resort. That was a couple seasons ago. So me, Jay, and Edwin are H-Town Houston crew. Thank you, Jay, for joining us. We were just kind of getting started. We were waiting on you. I know you're probably selling $1 million house, so we're just going to give you that grace.
Nah, man, I'm trying to get how you did it. You know what I'm saying? Selling Bentleys, Ferraris. I seen that new Maserati joint. Holla at me.
That MC. I saw that too.
Yeah. It's enough to go around. I put all your names on it.
Not like we might have to have a real conversation about it though.
Right. So thank you so much, man. Thanks everybody for joining us. So we're gonna get into it. So what's the drink? Anybody drinking tonight? I'm gonna tell you what I'm drinking. I have something. Whoa, what is going on behind me?
Ooh.
What's going on?
This is a barbershop. You're not supposed to be here.
Ain't no girls in the barbershop, especially with that titties out. Put them up.
Hey, ain't no girls in the barbershop but singing. Hey,
Is she cutting hair too?
Blank.
So look, okay, let's get into it right now. How many of us have been in a barbershop when a single lady walks in with the child? Why does everybody stop talking when the pretty lady comes in the barbershop with the kid?
Because they're using their eyes, not their mouth.
Now I haven't been to a barbershop in years because I'm bald headed, but I take my son. But every time a pretty woman comes in with the son, you can hear a pin drop. Everybody peeking, everybody's quiet and looking.
They stop
I think it's
talking.
just a masculine energy that has a tendency to walk in.
They also talking about some unruly situations, so they don't want to get caught off guard.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's exactly
Well,
it.
man, we're gonna go ahead and get into this, man. I appreciate you guys so much for joining us. And like I said, I told you each guys, I know, especially you guys who just finished Ready to Love, you're probably tired of talking about Ready to Love. I know from the OGs on the panel, it gets a little redundant and you keep talking and regurgitating the same old stuff. So tonight it's going to be a little break. We might talk 5-10 minutes, maybe max, of Ready to Love and just go through the little stuff and then we'll talk about men stuff. All right? Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
That's
Are we
what's
live?
up. Say again?
Are we live right now?
We live.
Oh,
Okay.
By the way, we got distracted about what we have in common, what we drinking. So you asked the question.
My bad. Go ahead. What you think?
I mean, I'm sipping on some Weller 12.
Okay.
Good old bourbon.
I'm sipping on some Hennessy White, pure white, and a little lemonade.
I'm just drinking pineapple ginger right now. That's all I'm doing.
And no, Jay don't drink, so you're on that Fiji water.
I got water with you too, Jay. I got water.
Dude.
So I got an adultified coffee with a little basil Hayden in it.
Right.
Yeah, Basil Hayden, good stuff.
Oh yeah.
Let's go ahead and hop into it. So let's talk about Ready to Love. Let's talk about some flashbacks and behind the scenes stuff that only us guys would know about.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
First and foremost, on our show was a little bit different. We were set apart. We were on a resort, so we had to kind of make do with what we had. So on our cast, the food was awful. Like we talked about the food and the circumstances surrounding us and things of that nature. So let's talk about behind the scenes stuff, guys. How was the experience when you were going? You guys were in your city. How was it dealing with your day-to-day life, going in and out of filming, going back home, trying to keep it a secret or whatever you happen to do, and then all the other things that goes with normal life?
I'll start real quick. There was no normal life, and it's because y'all were on a resort. So at least like when you went back there, well, actually I can't assume, but we all went back and had the self quarantine. Like that was part of our contract. So every single day after we're done shooting or filming or doing takeaways, we go straight back home. And so it was hard to actually have a work filming balance, to say the least. And then from there, because of how far they stretched us, we're in the DMV, so we're going from Maryland to Virginia to DC sometimes in one day for either multiple date scenes or a men's lounge to a date, or a men's lounge to a bubble date type scenario. So, and then the second we get in the house, since everybody's in the house, we on the phone boning. So,
So we couldn't really have our phones, man. So I'll tell you a story. And Jay and Edwin can speak to this. So we had to, at certain points of the day, we had to take our phones and our laptops and give them away. Like they would come in a little bats and collect them, so we wouldn't call out and give secrets and spoiling and stuff. And I'll tell you, one time, I don't know if I've told this story before. One time I got caught with my phone, but I had a burner phone. So I learned from some of the other guys had burner phones. I had two, but I was using my real phone when I was giving it up. I didn't know. So me and Jay were like sweet. Me and Jay was like right across, you have those connecting doors. He was right on the other side with me, right? So fast forward, rewind. When we get there, this is how I meet Jay. Because when we get to the resort, we have to quarantine in our room for 5 days, bro. They were bringing food to the door, knock like we were in prison. Food on the door, knock, and walk away. I'm in there doing prison push-ups on the floor. So then one day we finally opened up my balcony, and I'm doing push-ups, and Jay's out there working out too. So this is the first time me and Jay met. We was like, oh, what's up? So we was on quarantine then. So then the NBA playoffs are going on. It's the bubble. I'm on my phone calling back home, talking. I forgot I had my mic on. I get a knock on the door. They like, yo, Rashid, who you talking to? The head of production. She's on y'all's. And I was like, myself. And as soon as she said that, I remember I had my microphone on because we had learned how to unplug it, but I forgot. So I'm talking. Said, where's your phone at? You talking? Boom. I had to give my phone. I get my phone back for like 2 days, like I was on punishment.
Bro, it literally was like we was in high school. I remember the producers got mad at me, and they wouldn't give me. I'm trying to run my company, bro. Like that, right. I was told, hey, I could, talk to my staff in the morning for like 5-10 minutes, get them going. Talk to my kids, make sure everybody's good. Bro, I lost phone privileges and laptop privileges for like 3 days. I was big mad. Oh, I was big mad, bro. So I was like, say less. I called my assistant. I got online. I bought me a burner phone and a burner laptop. I had them jokers stored in the, because they would come in your room and you just like, your phone would be there and your phone gone. Like, bro, y'all went in my room and took my phone. I'm a grown man. I was like, say less. I ain't never going to happen again, man. So I was in there.
Wow.
So
I can imagine
that behind the scenes, guys. You have anything that you hadn't really shared that we would only kind of understand?
Well, I know that when we wanted to talk, we would always we wanted a private conversation, even though we were mic'd up. Just keep tapping the mic while you're talking to somebody. That way they couldn't hear what you were saying. That was our go-to thing. And they knew every time they saw us talking, we was doing this, they would get mad. Like, yo, what you guys talking about over here?
They knew what time it was, yeah. So what did y'all have when y'all went to these restaurants? Was the food already prepared for you guys? Or did you get to order what you wanted?
So they would send us, before we got there, they would let us know what restaurant we were going to, and then be like, hey, take a look at the menu and let us know ahead of time so that the food was there for us. So we definitely got to choose our food.
Okay. Because like I said, we were stuck with.
So y'all actually had edible food then, right?
I'm a pescatarian, so they better have some right for me.
We had boxed eggs, and thank God Edwin is a chef.
So
Edwin would get there and try to do the most he could. Like Edwin would try to chef some stuff up. He would add he would find some stuff just anywhere and try to help us out. And we had unlimited supply to the alcohol. So Edwin, speak to that, man. How you'd make drinks. Edwin was our bartender and our chef.
So y'all check this. They told us that we couldn't go behind the bar, but we would do it all the time. And so I think that was when I used to go back there and like whip up everybody's drinks. But I don't know if y'all remember this when Simone called the Brussels sprouts. She called them Brussels bricks. That's just how hard they were. Like literally everything that we had was undercooked. And so I remember it was actually around my 40th birthday. So they told me that I couldn't even have a gift package or a care package sent to me. But I had it sent like immediately when it came through or whatever. So I was in the room eating ramen noodles, summer sausage, cheese, crackers, peanut butter. Because like all the food was just horrible, man. So
Right. Well, cool, man. So other than that, everybody has the one guy. So for y'all's cast, Corey, I'm gonna go to you on this one. For y'all's cast, Corey, who was the teacher's pet or the class clown or someone who always got in trouble, who always was late? Do you have anybody that from the behind the scenes, or was it you?
I don't really know. I can't really tell you because doing the casting, I really didn't want to be friends with none of the dudes. To be honest with you, I wanted to keep my distance,
right? Just
in case I had to cut somebody in their back, I wouldn't feel bad about it. So I hung out with. I mostly talked to production. Okay. It is what it is. And once the show is over, let's be friends. So like I said, so I really couldn't tell you. Like I said, I mostly hung out with production, or I was in somebody's ear. So I really couldn't tell you.
I got you.
I think Phil had the most jokes.
Phil
had the most jokes.
Phil would just slide in jokes underneath his breath. Like if you were sitting next to him, you was gonna be cracking up the whole time.
Phil's a low-key type of conversationalist, right? Like Phil just like throw a quick slide of a jab, and it'll be soft-spoken too. But the second you hear, you'll be like, and just
you look super quiet. Like that's surprising to hear that.
I don't know what kind of New York like shit talking he has built in him, but like it ain't the typical. You know what I mean? It's not as brash as the typical New Yorker.
Right. Gotcha. Listen, all right. So I know, as far as on our show, I know who's always late. I know who. Edward, you remember who always late in production was looking for?
Who was that? Who was that?
That nigga, right? Jay was
I was in my room working, bro. I told you I had that burner laptop. I was in there working.
Jay came out fresh and clean when he came out late, so he came out fashionably late.
Like Jay would have a 3-piece suit on, and they'd be like, bro, we're doing a pool scene today. Like, what you doing?
If I stayed on the resort 2 or 3 months, Jay would have had enough clothes.
Right. That's hilarious. And so, who do you think was a jokester on our season?
Brian, hands down.
Easy. I'm glad you said that. Give a quick story about Brian, man. We're gonna move on. People don't know how crazy Brian was, especially in those meetings when he had a drink. When Brian would drink, it would be completely left, and he had a small tolerance. Go ahead.
First of all, it would take Brian 5 minutes to answer a question straight. So as soon as Tommy ask him a question, we're like, we just knew, man. He making up words. What do you say? Single or whatever, stringer or something like that. What was it?
Stringer. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So he was crazy. But anyway, man, so let's move on. So there's a lot of stuff in the news. Streets are talking. I wanted to ask you guys' opinion about the Nick Cannon situation, right? Let's get into it. So Nick Cannon, as you don't know, Nick Cannon is having his 8th child right now, right? So, a lot of people are talking this, that, and the third. I want to hear from a guy's perspective. Do you feel if you had the type of money he had, do you think it's a money thing to where he can afford to take care of all his kids and boom? So I see a lot of shaking heads. So y'all chime in, tell me what your thoughts are on it.
I'll jump in. Why not? Doesn't Nick Cannon have a terminal illness?
I'm not sure.
I believe so, which is why he's having so many kids, because he's like, I have a limited time.
Right. So
he's trying to make sure he leaves a legacy. He's trying to make sure he leaves something behind, right? Because he feels like he's going to die soon. So he can have as many kids as he can afford. He's trying to leave a legacy. And if he can leave each kid $1 million, $2 million, $10 million, $100 million, why not? That's his way of dealing with his terminal illness.
But Walter, a man's greatest legacy is not how much money he can leave behind. It's the offspring, the type of offspring that he leaves.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. Okay. I'm not saying it's about the money. I'm saying he's leaving kids behind. He's trying to leave. That's the legacy.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All right. I understand.
And the more kids he has, the more probable that the legacy will be something great.
All right. Quick detail. So I believe he has lupus, right?
Okay.
Yeah. And then on top of that, he's had 2 sets of twins. So technically, he would only have had like 5 more kids. You know what I mean? He have 2 sets of twins.
Right. He'd be down to 6.
The other side of it, right? The other side of it is, yes, he does have the wealth to be able to support them throughout the longevity of their lifetime. But I think that a lot of times we talk about this conversation in this day and age because a lot of our parents are one of 6, 7, 8, and 10, right? But within the new day and age, because we move so fast, there's so much technology, there's circumstances that allow people to now get away from the tradition, right? The traditional marriage, the ethically non-monogamous, the fact that divorce has become a more rampant conversation. We don't trust the fact that this man's morals, but then again, it's Nick Cannon. He puts himself on blast on a daily basis. We kind of know who he is. So I think ultimately the conversation is not how many kids he has, but do you trust that he's a quality man or a broken man within raising these children, right? Right. And I mean, to be quite honest, there's many different controversial circumstances he's gone through. And the fact that there's all these women, I think he had 3 different sets of pregnancy within like a year and a half. And one of those was his last twins, right? Or at least 2 of them in 1 year, 2 different women, right? 2 different women. So these women aren't blind and they ain't stupid. I'm assuming they know for a fact he's been, he's had babies with somebody else, or
a reputation for sure.
Yeah, hey, Frank, you got a major point on that. So
and so something positive is coming from Nick Cannon when he's having these conversations, or at least when they stroking and poking, because also on top of that, this is the elephant in the room, because I'm just egregious.
I was waiting for somebody.
How big is this nigga's dick? Because
that's not the fucking elephant in the room.
That wasn't the elephant.
That's
the truth is, his stroke game must be nice if they're just having children.
That is not the elephant in the room.
No, hold on. Let's be honest. All Nick Cannon is telling y'all is that copy and paste works. Women really like copy and paste. He's giving the same community penis to all the different women and giving all these different women multiple kids. So here's
the question. Here's the question. And this is the elephant in the room as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, you got different elephants? That's what you're trying to say?
Different elephants.
Same elephant?
Right. Different elephants. This is a whole other no pink elephants. This is different elephant. What about the women? They know what they're getting themselves into. They know that they know that he wants to get them pregnant. They're going in for this deal. He's not lying to them. He's like, you can move in with the rest of the women. You know what I'm saying? When I die, I'm going to take care of you and the baby. They're looking for a cash cow in this thing as well. Don't put it all on Nick.
I don't want to assume that they're looking for a cash cow.
Okay.
It's a barbershop now.
He is one.
He's a cash cow. Yeah. And they know they want to have that baby to collect the cash.
So let me ask you this question.
Edwin.
It's not.
I want to ask you this question. Do you all think that could happen with a regular dude, a regular guy?
Yes. Hold on. And I was getting ready to say that it's what Nick Cannon is doing is what's happening right now. I can only speak in the black community because I mostly date black women, and my circle is predominantly black. I see multiple dudes. A lot of dudes I know who got kids by multiple women, and these women are okay with it.
But those women don't know from television. Those women don't know your boy from television.
No, I'm just saying. Hey,
it's a different scenario.
Walter, I got a real close personal friend who was dating a guy who already had a kid by another woman. Right?
One kid, right? Nick got 8.
Hold on, Walter. I'm not done, right? He has a kid by another woman. She starts dating her, right? Popped up. Now she got a kid by him. Before that kid is even 3 years old, he done popped up with another woman, got another kid. And now, right now, the dude's on his 4th kid by four different women. And he be having his kids for the most part.
Yo,
and I'm just like,
I just peeped this in the chat, right? So I forgot completely, right? We forgot that Nick Cannon lost a child, right? Like less than 1 year old, right?
Right.
So some of that PTSD, that trauma within that, right, is now him like one-upping himself possibly. You know what I mean?
Okay,
it may be a void fulfillment.
Okay, to your point though, here's where it gets tricky. From what I understand, unfortunately, the young lady who lost the child, right? It's an overlap though, because this new baby, you know what I'm saying? This baby has not been born yet, or has it been born? The new
It was born.
Okay.
Or was it stillbirth? I can't.
No, not the one who passed. The new one.
Oh.
Right. So to your point, yes, it could be some PTSD with that. But was he already slipping and dipping with this young lady who was already pregnant before he lost the other child?
Man, this may not be a popular opinion, but my thing is like, look, if they all adults and everybody is on the same page, if he's coming through saying, hey, I wanna have a stable of children, you know what I'm saying? And here's what I want to do, and I'm gonna provide for them. And if you're having the communication, y'all set the rules. I'm not saying that it's right, but I'm just saying as long as you're putting everything out there and just being open and honest about it and letting the other person decide. If you can afford them, I got 2 kids. I can barely afford these jokers. My kids
So all of those who have kids know kids are expensive. He's got 2. I've got 1. Edwin has 1. I'm not sure about the other gentlemen on the
all of us are all of us have children.
They're expensive. So what I'm saying is money does play a huge part in this.
Right.
It has to, because knowingly having children like this, you know that you can afford to take care of them. So
correct.
Well, I feel
why do you think that man works so hard?
Nick probably has nannies. They probably have a full squad of people, in-home tutors. They have a full squad of people taking care of these kids, man.
That's true. But my thing is, the kids don't replace the dad.
No.
So I don't know where these kids are scattered throughout the country. So here's where I look at both sides of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's invited most of them all to his house.
Oh, really? So
yeah.
Okay. If that's the case, cool. Because I'm a super involved dad. I know Jay's a super involved dad. Edwin is a super involved dad. Like, if I go 2 days without seeing my child, I'm like spinning.
Mariah Carey, who's the first mother of his children, right? Actually, that's a quick caveat. If you having a child with Nick Cannon, their siblings, and also Mariah Carey's kids.
Every Christmas, without singing a song, Mariah Carey make about $10 million.
Protection is there, but then on top of that, Mariah Carey has gone on record well after Nick Cannon and her were divorced to say specifically that he is a great father. Right, so I know that part. Right, like that high of a figure, the first mother of twins before he has 6 more kids or on the way, has gone on record later in life to say that he's been a great father.
Yeah, I would assume that he's a great dad just from from what he projects.
Right.
He projects that. He projects that he really cares about, like I said, it's his legacy. I feel like he's trying to imprint himself as much as he possibly can in whatever period of time frame he has left.
So let me ask you this. As a homeboy, if you had a homeboy like this, even if it was Nick Cannon, or what do you think his homeboys are saying? Or what would you say to your boy that's doing that? Like, what would you say?
They still giving them dap off of Mariah Carey.
These homeboys is exactly. Right, Jay.
You get some of that.
First baby mama got the highest pitched voice in the world.
Right. Whatever you do after that, what they say, anybody here from Louisiana, they call that land yap. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
All right. So let's move
I'm like,
on.
As long as you're happy.
Yeah. So my next topic, Streets Are Talking. ASAP Rocky, Rihanna. Who wants to go first?
It's good. It's good.
It's all good.
It's good.
Yo.
It's good, bro.
Go ahead, Corey.
The only bad thing about it is that we definitely not getting the album from Rihanna. Besides that, that baby is gonna be beautiful. Listen, I think about it, right? So, Blue Ivy is like the next coming of Michelle Obama. Sheesh. One, I'm trying to think of other celebrity kids, right? I had this
ASAP Rocky and Rihanna's baby. If it's a girl,
the coolest, beautiful kid.
Next coming of Lauryn Hill.
Right, because this is my thing.
Singing to rap.
Because Kanye and Kim Kardashian's kids, right? They got a great life. So does Travis Scott and Kylie Jenner. But the Kardashian are the West kids, right? They probably gonna have some kind of problems down the line, right? Because of one of their parents. So, Rihanna and ASAP Rocky's kids gonna be probably the coolest kids out of all celebrities ever in the history of ever.
Maybe. So how about
this kid?
So do you think? So it's been reported that Rihanna is worth $1 billion. So do you think a woman at that level cares about? And here's where I'm going with this. Cares about what the man has and can bring to the table? Because hold on, let me finish, Corey. Then you go. In theory, out of Drake and Chris Brown, she got the brokest out of all, and the billionaire she got the brokest out of them all. Like, let's be 100.
ASAP is a not only talented individual, like highly talented, but like when you dig into the meat and potatoes of it, if it comes to like specifically the artist. Besides Kanye's talent on production, ASAP Rocky is the better artist. And on top of that, he also is like highly regarded in fashion, just as much as Kanye. But, so like they sit side by side, in my opinion.
Okay, she just left a billionaire, and then you got Chris Brown and Drake, bro. These are 3 guys that's on a whole
Drake got a kid, and we're not gonna talk about how that kid looked. All right, that's all I got to say. Their kid gonna be beautiful more than likely. I'm just saying. You know, my bad.
I think it's a horrible look.
Okay.
Personally, I think it's a horrible look because what it does is it perpetuates that the black family is no longer existent.
Okay.
Here it is, you willing to have a baby with this man or this woman, which is really a 25-year commitment, but you don't have enough foresight to say, hey, look, how about I commit myself to you as actually being my family first, being an actual family with actual family values versus just out here having babies and broken families.
But
I think it's a horrible look. What this sends to other women, in my personal opinion, is that, yo, look, I don't need a family. And if we look at the statistics of it, kids have a higher level of being successful when they got both parents in the household. And so when I saw this, I just shook my head. She's at a platform where a lot of women look up to her, follow her lead, want to be successful like that. And we should be holding her accountable and leading the way. It's like, yo, if you care this much about the man, why not have the man actually make you an honest woman and say, yo, you're my wife?
Right.
Yeah, but here's the thing about that. We're assuming that Rihanna, who is a free spirit and chooses to live her lifestyle the way she wants to, maybe they sat down and was like, yo, let's have a kid together.
Once again, I say this again.
So that doesn't mean that the parents aren't active. That's actually
it's about the optics of it. We all just did a reality show, right? We all just did a reality show, and how things are versus how they actually is are two different things. And
at that point, Corey, your notion right now is an assumption, because it's still an assumption of what their actuality is, their reality.
I know, and so I know personally that there are people, and I've gotten a divorce before. I've been through a marriage, okay? And co-parenting is a lot healthier for a child rather than parents that can't stand each other, right? Those people commit to being friends and in a relationship, and the focus is on the kid. So that's almost like saying if it's a same-sex relationship that they can't parent the kid well either, right? I agree with what you're saying, but at the same time, though, as a child, I saw a healthy relationship with my mother and father. Whether it was married or not, I think the most important thing is that I saw them co-parent together with me, and that gave me an example of what to do in the future. They happen to be married, but if they weren't, I would still leave with those same gifts that I now give to my kids and focusing on them versus whatever the relationship. You know what I mean?
Well, check this out. I mean, you can drive a car with your feet. It doesn't make it a good idea. And I said to say is that I did a poll a couple years ago, right? I did a poll where I asked over 1,000 people. 79.82% all said that if they can have the same child with a different partner, that was the result. I was shocked for that many people to say, yo, I'd rather have a different partner than the person I just had kids with. So I say all that to say is, once again, the black family,
86% of stats are made up.
Black family is a major issue in our community. It's a major issue. It causes a lot of snowball effects. And like I said, when I saw this, I shook my head because what's that going to say is sends a message to a lot of other women who are about their career, about the business. Oh, I don't need a man. What's wrong with needing a man? What's wrong with a man needing a woman? What's wrong with wanting to have a partner? What's wrong with needing to have a family?
Am I missing something here? Did Rihanna's? I feel like I'm missing something. Did Rihanna go on record to say like she's gonna like have a solo parenting situation, or that they have kids in there? Or is it just because the lack of marriage is the conversation?
So let me step in here.
I don't think
so. To both of you, to Frank and well as Jay's point, we don't know what Rihanna wants. We don't know because what we get is she's free spirited and she's like a modern day hippie, right? And A$AP Rocky kind of embodies that as well. So maybe that's why they connect. But I think what Corey is talking about is the institution of marriage has changed with the public perception, especially in our community. So me and Jay have both been divorced, right? And you know, although it's a tough situation, we both have children from that, and you go into a marriage never thinking that you're going to get a divorce. But at the same time, because it was my goal, because I come from a single mother, I come from my parents being divorced, so it was important to me to try to break that cycle, right? And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do that. But at the same time, to Jay's point, sometimes under the same roof doesn't mean the same type of quality outcome that we all hope for as parents. So because me, I have a fantastic co-parenting situation. Like, people think my son lives with me. Like, I never, like, I spend the most time with my son than anybody could that's not under the same roof, in my opinion. Now, would I want to be under the same roof? Yeah, Corey, 100%. But I think we don't need to project single family is the way to go. And I think that's what you're saying.
Yes. To me, yes. Like I said, when this popped up, like I said before, I hear so many women say all the time, yo, I don't need no man, that's why I had this kid. I'm just like, yo, this God, for a reason, God made it a man and woman to come together, have a kid for a reason, not to have to split the responsibility. There's a reason for it, dude. And so when I saw this, when people of power and influences move a certain way, let's be honest, people follow the crowd more than they ever go against the grain. And so when people of influence are doing certain things like this, it's starting to set a trend or a tone.
Corey, they're in a relationship though, Brody. So they're in a relationship. They're boyfriend and girlfriend. They're just not husband and wife. And on the point of them possibly having a broken home later in the future, well, one, we're talking about, if we discuss divorce, well, they're not married. So at the end of the day, they can't technically get divorced. So that's off the table at the current moment. But do they love each other? They've been in a relationship, and we were all shocked that A$AP Rocky got her after the multiple other individuals that she was dating, right? But we have not heard a single divergence of their relationship. Not one break, not one separation. Every time they round each other, they smile and they happy. When they make these appearances or photo shoots or circumstances, dog, I ain't never seen them not seem like they could not be cordial in the future. So
that's true.
An assumption would be that just because she has power or she is of significant wealth, that their relationship isn't seen eye to eye. You're just assuming that maybe A$AP, who you think has a little bit of money, which is weird to me because
Frank, y'all keep saying money and power.
Corey, no, I'm stating multiple things here. So it's not about just wealth. I'm trying to tell you that take wealth off of the table. If you're just looking at the surface, they look like a good relationship and they look like they're comfortable. So your assumption that she's a woman of stature, that you said these words, that she's a woman of stature who then is making it seem like I don't need a man. She never said that. That's why I was like, am I missing something? Did she ever say that?
No. I never said that Rihanna said that she didn't need a man. What I said was that there are women who have the mindset that I don't need a man.
About Rihanna though.
That's where we diverted.
No.
We went from a conversation about Rihanna to a conversation about whether or not we should have black marriage being protected in the media. So,
I think it's a bad look. Like I said,
right. Your opinion about Rihanna and A$AP Rocky is a bad look because she's not married and they're not married. Excuse me, and they should be trying to project black marriage and black wholesomeness and black family because people are going to follow them. Got it. My opinion. Rihanna's Rihanna. A$AP's A$AP. He might as well be like, I'm Oprah baby daddy, nigga. I'm Oprah baby daddy. Is she's really a billionaire? He's Oprah baby daddy now, right? She's a billionaire, dude. You came up. Be happy. That's number one. Number two, I feel like whatever they have is real because first of all, Rihanna does like somebody with some edge, and she's in fashion. He's in fashion. They probably just have more in common, man. Once you get to that level of finance, it doesn't matter what anybody else is bringing to the table. He can throw in his little change and he could get the tip at this point. You know, she has $1 billion. You know what I mean? At that point, she's looking for somebody that she can somebody that she feels is cool.
Let Edwin chime in, and we're gonna move on because we got a lot of stuff to get to.
My last thing. As far as them being married, let me last thing. As far as them being married, she's a billionaire. She don't want that. She don't want that contract. They got to figure out how they're gonna. If they are gonna get married, they're gonna need time how to figure out how to do that financially. There's got to be a solid.
Walter, Walter, that's my point. Far too many people are having unplanned pregnancies or unplanned families.
How do you know it wasn't planned?
Hold on, Walter. And what this does is it just perpetuates that versus having a conversation. Like, how many people are actually sitting down with their partner and having a conversation before having
probably Rihanna and ASAP.
Probably Rihanna and ASAP. They're not in an ethically non-monogamous relationship. They're in a monogamous relationship. They're just not marital.
That's all. Hold on. Once again, hold on. I say this again.
I want to hear.
I say this again. It's the perception. We all just came off a reality show. You all know how people perceive something versus how it really is, and they will run with that and make their decisions based off of that. And my whole thing, and that's what I'm trying to say. This is why I take my hat off to Beyonce more than I take Rihanna, because Beyonce had her children. She in my personal opinion, I believe that she realized, hey, look, I'm in the public eye. Look, I got a bunch of young black women looking up to me. Let me go about this the right way. Let me start officially become this man's husband or become this man's wife and have our family together and have it under a proper union.
In your eyes.
Edwin, jump in. Let's go. Edwin.
So Corey, check this out. The reality of the situation is that you got to realize that they're celebrities, but they're still human beings at the end of the day. So for us to be able to hold them to a standard to say that, hey, I understand that other people want to watch you, emulate you, and follow you, but think about if they weren't celebrities. A lot of people that even aren't celebrities are perpetuating the same thing. So I get where you're coming from. The institution of marriage is the institution of marriage, but we live in a society where you have some people that don't even care about marriage, and they'll go out and have all sorts of kids. And then you have the ones or whatever that want to be married, that want to do it the right way, and that's just how it's going to be.
You have the freedom of choice.
All right, guys, let's move on. All right, so we got the Super Bowl coming up, not this Sunday, but next Sunday. If you're going with a girl, if you're going with your girlfriend, your ladies, your wife, what are some do's and don'ts for women at Super Bowl parties?
I'm still boycotting the NFL since Colin Kaepernick.
Don't walk in front of the TV.
I actually agree with Corey on that one.
Okay.
I hear you.
Frank?
Well, I'm boycotting the team that I love because the owner is terrible. But anyway, we'll go from there.
The Washington team?
Y'all's
name is trash, bro.
Who exists? I don't know who they are anymore. As of yesterday, they died in my life. So
no
anyway.
suggestions for ladies at Super Bowl parties?
I would say dudes, maybe wear a jersey. If you're associated with somebody like one of the men if you came with a man, you can come by yourself. Associate yourself to your team. Don't automatically just be a fair weather fan and root for one team. You know what I mean? I'm a loyalist, so especially if an NFC East team is playing in the Super Bowl, I'm definitely not rooting for their ass. I don't even care if they came from my division.
My thing is, go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry.
One don't to do is don't tell people they're being too loud. Like I already scream on my day to day. Like, so if I'm watching football, I'm screaming at that television.
Yeah, for sure.
My neighbors just gotta deal with it.
Don't ask too many questions. Like I didn't come to talk. I'm watching the game. Like, don't ask
field goal.
I'll answer your question if it has common sense behind it. If you're just asking willy-nilly ass questions, anybody in the world is not going to get an answer from me. It wouldn't matter if you have an XY chromosome, an XX, or whatever else. Like, you're just not getting it.
And ladies,
if
you never ever fix your man a plate, do it on Super Bowl Sunday.
Do it on Super Bowl.
They don't want to leave the plate. There's a lot of importance. Even the commercials are important. And so if it doesn't,
you're not getting up.
If it doesn't mean anything to you, maybe just assist at that point in time. But I also am a man of gender roles. At the end of the day, if I get up, I know. Look, I also worked in the restaurant industry. Open hands out, open hands in. I'm taking some dishes back with me, and I'm probably bringing you a drink. So if you get up, ask a question. Does anybody need anything? You might just be helping the individual that's really stuck in the game because their team is into it.
Gotcha.
Don't ask the dumb question. If you don't know about football, now is not the time to try and learn. after a play talking about, was that a double dribble? Did he travel? No, this is not. It's not the time for it.
If you're not into football,
don't walk in front of the TV anytime.
What was that, Edwin?
Yeah, don't walk in front of the TV.
You go. If you're not into football, but you're coming to the party, if you're not into football and you're coming to the party, bring a friend with you. So that way you have somebody to conversate with. So you're not just lost in the sauce the whole time.
I love that.
Don't come empty-handed.
Move on. All right, so let me pull this clip up, guys. I want to show you this. Let me see here. Let me get this. Bear with me now. I'm still, I'm working on it. So anyway.
I believe in you, bro.
No, not him. All right, we're coming back to him. All right. See, I might need to ask for help for this one. Hold on. Okay, here we go.
As a quick little tip on how to make a first impression last.
All right, guys, I'm going to play this. You give me your thoughts after this. This went viral a few days ago. All right, here we go.
I wanted to give you guys a quick little tip on how to make a first impression last. Okay, so I've been talking to someone for literally like 2 days now, and we decided to have our first meetup, link, date, whatever you want to call it. And just through our conversation, I know for a fact he is an avid cigar smoker. He enjoys a good cigar over a glass of brandy or whiskey. I can't remember which one. I think it was whiskey. But I picked up on that little mental note. And I remembered that my dad is an avid cigar smoker and he has a really nice collection. So before getting on the road for our date today, I decided to stop by my parents' house and actually pick up a cigar. And my dad actually threw in a cigar cutter. And my mom, being the mom that she is, was like, oh my God, Samara, you can't take it just like that and hand a cigar in a cutter, wrap it. And I'm like, well, what do I have to wrap it with? Her crafty self had some twine in a paper bag. So I wrapped his cigar in literally a paper bag I folded up and some twine, and I really hope this is a good first impression.
All right, guys. Right. So listen, I want to hear.
Nice.
So look, hold on before you go.
Nice.
Before you come in.
Go.
Right. So listen, I did the same thing. Okay, but unfortunately for this young lady, I don't know her name. This woman got dragged for this on social media, like dragged. So this is the barbershop. You guys are welcome to chime in. Let's go.
So are you asking specifically the resident first date expert on my opinion on this?
You go first. You gotta go first.
Mr. First Date himself. Give it an answer.
Come on, baby.
I say this again. You only get one shot. You're only as good as your first and last date. Not your third or fourth date. You got one shot to make an impression or to earn enough value to get you to the second date. And because women normally don't show up with gifts, this will actually separate her from other men, from other women that are pretty much doing the bare minimum, just showing up and using resources. So most women, I feel, are hating on it is because it's hateration. Hateration is a combination of love and jealousy. They love what she did, but they jealous that they don't have the courage to actually do it. So men and women should always be trying to give 110% on the first date, because the reason why is you want the person to choose you or make the best decision about you based off 110% of your effort versus 25 to 15% of your effort, which is what most people give when they first start out because they're not sure if it's going to go past.
All right. Anybody else?
If your intention,
like this,
so I'll say this.
Go ahead, Ed.
So typically as men, we all have the expectation that we're supposed to be the one to pay for the date, to be able to do a nice gesture. So why is it a problem that a woman actually comes with a gift? To me, I personally think it's a great idea. It just depends upon if the person's willing to be able to do so. So
so I've seen the rebuttal, and the major one was a woman who afterwards she immediately like scratched it and was like, "This is terrible." And
Hold
she
on.
walked.
I'm gonna get to that. I want to hear how you feel. Yeah.
All right, cool. Then I'll give my genuine response to this. Circumstantially, coming prepared is never a bad thing. Being thoughtful is never a bad thing. Being mindful that you like this person and you truly do want to make a first impression is a actual lasting circumstance. There are 7.8 billion people in this world, and you just said it, Edwin. And you just said it as well, Corey. Sometimes nobody brings anything to the table, but Edwin just said that a lot of times the association is that the man will pay. I have zero issue with that, but as of recently, I've learned that sometimes it's who invites who. If you ask me out, then you intend on paying. I'm not going to assume my wallet's full. We're going to pay for however it needs to take care of. But if you come with a gift on the first day or a gift on the second day or a gift on Christmas just means that you care. You know what I mean? You might not know that you care about me, but it just means that you care about the time you're spending, and this is the energy you're willing to put forth. Shows me a lot. And like we all did, we all threw it up. It's good. It's a goal. Now, I think one thing that will be said is we're all men, right? So the association there is maybe we're not seeing it from the woman's point of view, or maybe the woman's being too submissive in that circumstance.
It's okay. This is a barbershop, though.
Yeah, my dog. I tried to like keep things well rounded, but my point of saying that is like come with it. I also want a breadwinner. Does she have to be the breadwinner? Absolutely not. But I want one. I want somebody of quality. And the way she thought about that gift, she took one time of information and turned it into $100. I'm sold. And it was free. She went to her father's house. I don't know how much her dad paid for the damn thing, but she went to her father's house, used twine, wrapped it up with paper, and got the whole family involved. You tell that story to me, good Lord, I'm not gonna say too much.
Frank, it's all about the effort. Frank, it's never about the cost. It's the effort, and people recognize and understand effort and value effort.
I think it's really.
Go ahead, Walter.
I think it's extremely thoughtful of her to even go there with it. If her dad's really a connoisseur, Frank, it's probably at least a $35 stick. You know,
right.
You know. I also think that a lot of women now have this sense of entitlement. You meet them, and the first thing they want you to do is like, when you gonna fly me? When we gonna take a vacation? When you gonna take me on a trip? I don't know where this sense of entitlement came from, but for some reason it's there. But for her to be that thoughtful and to bring a gift, and here's what we're not talking about, for her parents to be like, here's a cigar. You know what, baby? You need to wrap this up. She has had an example of how to treat a man and how to have a successful relationship. Her parents weren't like, don't take him a gift. Her parents weren't like, don't take him a gift. Her parents was like, that's a great idea. Matter of fact, here's a better way to even do it. So that's the type of reading, that's the type of household that she came from. As a man, you're like, yo, that's the type of thoughtfulness. And if her parents have taught her that, that's the type of woman that I want teaching my daughter and my kids, right? Also, think about how highly her parents respect her judgment, right? Her discernment, because they weren't questioning, oh, do you think this guy is good enough for you to be bringing him a gift? They were like, well, if you feel this way, if you're this excited about this first date, baby, I hope the best for you. They're encouraging and they trust her discernment. To me, I love it. To me, I'd be like, hey, she would have been tough. I would have been like, Mom, I might have met she might be the one, Mama. She might be the one. See how this thing goes.
Let me say this before I forget, and then Jay, you can go. So, Corey, back to what you were saying earlier. It just popped in my head. Back to what you were saying earlier. Like the traditional family that's not being shown in the public eye now, or perception is, oh, it's okay, you don't need that. This is cool to be on your own. This woman clearly went to her house she was raised in with both of her parents, and they sent her out to do this. So I'm wondering, who are these people that were upset, these women that were upset with her? What standard did they have to look at? Because I'm gonna listen to my parents who are still married if I'm marriage minded and going out to date this man. Go ahead, Jay.
Man, I like it all the way around. I think in relationships, if you start with the spirit of, here's what I'm bringing to the table and I want to give, the other person will almost naturally reciprocate and if you start that exchange from the beginning, I think you have a better probability of ending up in a good way, man. I'm assuming in my story, in my head, they had the conversation about love languages. you know, and he either like gifts or acts of service. And she led with that. And then you give the man the opportunity to also do the same. So a lot of times, just because the man is the person that leads in certain ways, women are leaders too. And so if you start giving in a certain spirit, as far as even if it's a gift, if it's, you know, whatever it is, I think the other person just follows the lead of that, you know. So I think we can all be leaders, and I would love to go on a date with a girl like that, man.
Right. So, and I'll give you my
she's basically teaching us how she wants to be treated at the end of the day.
Right. Right.
She's setting expectations.
She's setting expectations. She's also go ahead, boss.
No, and the fact that how many times as men do we feel our women don't listen to us? How many times? So the one thing that stood out, she said they had a conversation. He said he liked cigars. Boom. And that stayed in her mind. And let me get to
that's the way I think. And I'm a big up Corey on it. I think that's the way Corey thinks too, Mr.
Right.
First Dater.
That's not a random gift. She just said, let me bring him a gift to impress him. No. And I think that's where some women are going with that. No, she listened. This is what he likes. Let me bring him this. If that would have happened to me, like, wow, mind blown. Because oftentimes, like Edwin and other guys have said, we are expected to show out, grand gestures, do all this. We have to separate ourselves because we all know men are hitting your line way more than women are hitting ours. Like, let's be 1,000. Like, so with that being said, we are always on stage. It feels good every now and then to have those roles reversed. Like, can we get that once or twice? Like, we're always the hunter. It's cool, and it's not too aggressive because she listened. Period. That's what I think.
It's not like she bought him a car or something like that.
I was going to say exactly that, Jay.
Yeah, it's thoughtful, man. And
like Walter said earlier. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, like for me, like you know, I'll date here and there, and the most thoughtful thing a girl has done is like, hey, I cooked some so and so. You want me to drop it by? For real? Yeah, because I'm always out to eat, right? And if I cook, I'm cooking for myself. So just the fact that you made some lamb meatballs, you're gonna drop them by the house, that's thoughtful for me because you know I like meat, bro. So it doesn't have to be this big, huge, grand gesture. It's just a thoughtfulness, and you get like in a pattern of exchanging thoughtfulness with each other. And I don't see how that's a you know,
it can be because she's showing not only that, I mean, that effort, like imagine the effort was quality, but it wasn't really an egregious effort. It wasn't like a super boisterous effort. It was just a notion of taking a little bit of information and turn it into something that would be heartfelt. But then on top of that, we are talking about leading to expectations. Like she's like, hey, this is how I operate. This is how my brain thinks. You know what I mean? So I'm giving you that tidbit. And also like find a way to reciprocate eventually. You know what I mean? I did show up to this date to meet you. So it's not like I wanted to end after this. Otherwise it would have been a wasted effort. But she's not just showing, you know, notions of like, of love languages. She's also speaking on to like the quality of characteristics, you know, a woman that has high morale and levels of humanity, humility, integrity. Those are characteristics in any person that I want to be associated to, comparative to a woman that I want to then court, suit, and then possibly, you know what I mean, be in a relationship with.
Got you. All right, guys. So I'm about to play the aftermath of her date. All right. So y'all listen to this.
I know her, by the way.
Oh, dope.
Well, damn.
Give her a shout out. All right, here we go. Here's the aftermath.
So here's an update. He loved the gift. Loved it. He said he's never received like a gift on a first date ever before, so it really made me stand out. And we actually drove to a little point in Baltimore that is his favorite spot. It was by the water, and we actually stayed in the car because it was cold, but he showed me how to cut the cigar. He explained like the whole breakdown of cigars and how there's different levels, and we actually got to smoke the cigar, and he showed me how to smoke it properly because in the past I used to choke. But he definitely told me like this made me stand out, and he's very appreciative for me just listening and picking up on little things. And he actually surprised me by taking me to a record store because I mentioned to him I was trying to grow my vinyl collection that I had. So he surprised me as well. And yeah, ladies, I will keep you posted on this one because he's a good one.
Oh man.
She said, nah, I'm gonna chip in on this one because she said exactly. Like you lead in one way, you give the man like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do this, and then you start this whole almost like a competition of man, I'm gonna see what I can do for her next.
Her love language,
right?
her love language because love languages are both your giving love language as well as your receiving love language. If it's your giving love language, you should solely care about what your partner's love language is. But if it's your receiving, obviously you can be more meticulous about what really resonates with you and not. She clearly enjoys gift giving, receiving, and as well as giving within her love languages. So at that point, she literally opened the door wide open and was like, yo, take this little piece of meat and then give me another right back. You know, Lady and the Tramp me real quick.
But look how the floodgates opened with that small gesture.
Right.
You know, he was probably already going to do a little something anyway. He's probably already going to pay for the date anyway. But that small gesture just made him feel like, you know what? She's not materialistic. It just like took down whatever wall he had up. That small gesture probably tore that wall down. And he was like, here, this is what I enjoy. I want to bring you into my world. Just for that small gesture. It spoke volumes.
And Walter, both of you guys are correct on this. What she did pretty much sets the tone. I'm sorry, what's going to happen? 2 things are going to happen. If he's really into her, he's going to pick that ball up and run with it. Okay, this is how we're going to operate. So I'm going to keep pouring into her. And she seems like the type of woman that she'll pour into you, you pour into her, and y'all keep pouring back into each other. So therefore, you never run out of love and energy.
Right.
And the other way of it is, if he's not into her, he ain't going to do nothing. He's not going to do anything like that for her, which then tells her the type of dude that he's going to be in a relationship and in that context. Right. So I'm a big proponent on the first date, listening to what it is that she's into, what she likes, what she enjoys, and then at some point on that first date, come with that to let her know, hey, look, I'm paying attention. Hey, I think you're worth the effort. Hey, I think that you're worth any and everything that I want to give to you. It completely changed the tone from day one when you like Frank said, when you come prepared and you come in intentional and you give an effort. It changes the whole dynamic of how you're going to be dating that person.
So, unfortunately, I got to drop off, man. Great meeting you guys. I got to handle some business. If I can jump back on, I'm going to try to jump back on, but I do have to handle something real quick. Appreciate it. Nice meeting y'all, man. Appreciate it.
So here's my thoughts on that. So I listen to people for a living. Like I listen to people. As sales, you're taught to listen to every single word so you can overcome objections, right? And so, right. So I heard exactly what she said. First of all, see how excited the young lady was? Why would we steal her joy? First of all, period. Why would anybody steal her joy? Her, not everybody else. Second of all,
why do we have to use the word joy? Can we just use happiness? Can we?
The barbershop, y'all. The barbershop.
Yeah. So, you had to watch this season to get that one. I hear you.
Right.
Oh.
So my thing is, what did she say? Something that stood out to me. After her giving him that, he took her to his favorite spot.
I'm telling you, bro.
Do I need to say that again? After she gave him that, he took her to his favorite spot.
Yeah.
Quality.
So how do we know if she wouldn't have done that, stood out, which people sometimes have a problem with? I don't know why. Because you're dating, and everybody's dating right now. Let's be 1,000. If you're dating, you're not single, you're not in a committed or relationship, then you're dating. She stood out. How do we know if she wouldn't have gotten brought to his favorite place? Then what did he do? He showed that he listened as well and took her to a record store because she likes vinyl. Come on. Where's the problem?
Did y'all see how did y'all notice? Okay, she was smiling before the date. Did y'all see how much she was glowing after he reciprocated?
Right.
Did y'all see that? That's what I'm talking about. When you find a woman that inspires you to go above and beyond, that's the look and the energy that you want to give your woman every single time that you see her or in her presence.
Let me properly speak on this right before you cut back to her response of her date. I said that I know her. I know of her because we live in the DMV, right?
Yeah.
So my point of bringing that up is that without knowing her well enough, I do know that I can assume that she's a good judge of character. She took the time to go on the date with this individual. She broke it down that, this might be a circumstance that's beneficial for me. And then she put forth the effort towards him, and he reciprocated. And he also went above and beyond the effort. So therefore, at least from what we know and what we've seen, he is of good character. And therefore, there should be nothing wrong with this circumstance, plain and simple.
Anybody, Edwin, you got anything?
Dude, I'll say this. I think what I saw from that situation, it was an opportunity for bonding for the both of them. Even though it was a first date, I think just being able to give, somebody and have a thoughtful gesture like that, I don't think that would have happened. Had she not done what she did, I don't think he would have done what he would have done, because most first dates typically you go out, you have a very, exactly. I think the opportunity of opening up the gift giving and being thoughtful created the opportunity for him to be able to do something special for her. And in return, he was able to take her to, a record store because he was also listening. But if it was just a regular date, nobody had done anything, I think it would have just been basic.
Right. All right.
We could have made the whole process a whole lot more tougher.
Right.
Yeah.
So now let's see the rebuttal from a blogger who saw this. All right.
Yeah, beautiful boss Diva. She did say the date went very well. The one where she bought him a cigar and then wrapped it up, and his dad gave him the cigar cutter and all this other stuff. But did you catch the part where he admitted that he was a narcissist? Did you catch the signs that automatically already he's a narcissist? When she says that the date went well and that he says, yes, I'm really impressed, like nobody's ever done this, and that really sets you apart. That is a classic narcissist phrase, because what narcissists do is they keep you auditioning and performing for them, constantly trying to earn their approval of you so that they don't have to show up and earn you, so that you don't really see the dark stuff, the things that are wrong with them. So I am willing to bet that for this beautiful young lady, and I'm not saying there's something wrong with her, I'm saying that she has a pattern, but I'm willing to bet that he wouldn't be the first narcissist she's been in a relationship with. Hopefully it doesn't work out.
You see how I talk in non-definitives? The reason I don't talk in definitive is because until I'm sitting right in front of these people, I'm not going to assume a goddamn thing. Now, I'm going to break this down really quick about the woman who just had a response. I would normally automatically jump to the notion that she's a hater, but I'm not even going to do that. That's too simple. That's easy to get out. The fact of the matter is she already had a negative for the original reaction. She already had a negative, like, oh, I would not do this. She shouldn't do it. So therefore, a double negative came when she heard one portion of a very meticulous and methodical statement. Our young woman, Samara, who said all of these details about her date, she took one portion of it. I'm a person who takes top, bottom, and middle because of the fact all of it matters. She made an assumption about this individual, possibly from relationships she's possibly had, patterns she's noticed in somebody else, but she's never even heard anything from this man. And the one thing that he did say, right, that she picked apart was that he said, you're not like the rest, right? Or you're stood out.
Stand out.
Right. But we just discussed that there are times, or most times, no woman has ever brought us a gift. So it could be just that simplistic. You do stand out because you brought me a gift and nobody else
don't do that ordinarily
has ever given me a gift. Now, on top of that portion of it, if you say a word like I stand out, a narcissist will show so many different levels of themselves, right? And takes one to know one, right? The fact of the matter is when you come from an angle where you're just trying to get over and get gone, right? Have we heard that he slept with her? Have we heard that like the first date like looked like it was a bad one? Did it seem intentional that they would want to see each other again? All of these are all positives, right? So you're still assuming a negative just from one factor out of about 10 things I heard in this whole statement, in both statements, right? I don't know. I think sometimes people look too hard to try to find a way of saying that somebody's bad. Like some people just don't like the notion of certain people's humanity. And some men automatically deserve to have the guilty before innocent compared to the innocent before guilty. You know, and if that's the way she's looking at it, technically.
I thought it was a sad statement. I was sad, man. What she did was so. It was sad. It was sad. You're taking someone who's happy, and you're finding a way to poke holes in it. You're seeing the glass as half empty versus saying, make a statement of being something half full. This was an opportunity for other people to chime in to help change the narrative on dating. And you gave something negative back? Like, I don't get it. I mean, do people just want to be seen or heard and they just want to give more negative, more negative, more negative? She was happy. She was glowing. What she did worked for her and her situation. That woman should have been like, yo, I hope plus positive, 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 positive. Keep it going, sis. It was sad. I'm sorry. I was getting angry black woman vibes going on here. It was sad.
I'm definitely not going to be the one to say that, nor do I think it.
Hey,
I just
bro.
think she read I think she read the vibe wrong, and also some of her points about like him and his past. Quite possible, without being definitive, she possibly has more negative past history within her dating relationships than positive. And so therefore it's a reflection more so than a truth.
Facts, Frank.
Any of the other guys want to go before I go on this subject? Jay or
it's just real quick, man. I think people just get like something simple as a girl bringing a cigar or a young lady bringing a cigar and wrapping it and doing a nice gesture turns into she has all these issues. Or then maybe she just wanted to do something nice. You know, like it saddens me when we've gotten to the point to where it's like we got a micro, like, oh, they did this, so they mean marginalized. She just want to do something nice, and she got something nice in return. That's a love story to me, even if it's just a short love story.
Exactly.
Cool, we need more of that.
In capacity, right? And I'll be quick. Some people just don't have the capacity to automatically just think that far ahead, right? Like, and sometimes people also want things before they give. I'm genuinely like try to be an omniscient circumstance. So like at the end of the day, if I walk into a relationship with an acquaintance, a possible investor, and you know, a future love interest, I'm coming with it. Like I'm gonna bring my all, you know, because like Corey says, you just don't know what, you know, if this is your last time you're gonna be able to do so. And the realistic scenario here is she just seems like a go-getter that actually has the capacity to take that risk. And that's what it really is. It's a risk because the guy could have received it awkwardly or badly. So it is a risk to do something that is completely different than somebody else. I don't want to be the same as anybody else. I do want to be different. So tell me I'm set apart. Perfect.
Yeah. Edwin, you have anything?
You know, I'll say this. Who are we to say what anybody should do on the first date? At the end of the day, if you want to be able to bring somebody a gift, bring them a gift. Because I think the big thing is we get wrapped into traditionalism on the way things are supposed to be, and we don't realize that we sometimes need to break apart and just be able to do something different for the person. So gift giving, being thoughtful, I think, like Jay said, you know, what's the problem with reciprocating the same thing? Because if you do a nice gesture for one person, it feeds the same exact thing in that next person. So I'm all for it.
Right. So obviously, I'm not going to. Everybody knows about the narcissistic comment, right? I'm
You
not
okay over there, bro? You good? You good?
Somebody said in the chat that I'm having a flashback, but no.
Just checking in on you, bro. Blink.
Yeah,
We're gonna do it like my man.
My brother. But again,
remember, I was there. You was like, man, she came over here talking about right.
So, but here's the deal, man. Like I said, I listen to people. I listen. First things first. At the end of the blogger's soliloquy, she goes, "I hope it doesn't work out."
Hey,
that's the only thing that I could give the term hater for. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I think she was trying to say it from a good perspective, like so that way she doesn't date another narcissist. But there's so many assumptions in all of that off of one thing that she says the guy said. Man, let people live, man. I feel like we got people so afraid to get off the bench and get in the game of love. Yeah, it's gonna suck sometimes, man. You know, it sucks for some of us on TV. But at the end of the day, you don't stop. You know, you don't switch teams. You get back in the game. You dust yourself off, and all right, let me see what I can do better. Let me learn a little bit different.
When I saw this blogger, my first inclination was like, "Oh, she must be single." No, she's not. She's actually married. Okay, so she's married. I don't know how long, so shout out to her for being married. But at the end of the day, for her to throw that word out just by listening to this young lady who's extremely happy. And again, remember, he said, wow, basically, you really stood out. You stand out because that's never happened to me before. Okay. Now, let's be honest. How many times as guys do we go on a date with a woman, the first date, do we think she's only exclusively talking to us and dating us? I'll wait.
I date in Houston, bro. That ain't really.
I'll wait.
So
what do we do when we're going on a date? We're trying to what? Stand out.
Yes, correct.
Amongst the crowd. Like, why is that a big deal? And then another thing is, the young lady said, the narcissist, he said, set you apart. That's not what he said. That's not what the young lady said. She said, stand out. That's very different. The blogger said, stand apart. She said, stand out. Those are really big different things because he's dating people. He's been in a dating space like we've always said. That would stand out to us. Nothing's wrong with that, right? Next thing. The blogger said he would need to earn her. Okay. Well, as men, when we're on dates,
don't you assume that?
Can we be earned too? We're something to be earned. Like, I'm sorry, goddamn, can we be earned? Like, we go on a date. Yes, we want to earn this woman, but let's be honest. There's more women in this world than men. So on a date, can you have some type of let me earn him? Like, why can't that be reciprocated? Because we know we got to go earn this woman because, again, we know she's talking to and hearing from multiple men. Go ahead.
I got a question. So, because we in the barbershop.
Just us five.
No. This is a real thing because I try to stress this to a lot of women when dealing with men. The same way that us as men are trying to establish value with them so that they choose to be with us. If a woman does not establish value past what's between her legs, when most men gets what's between their legs, they out. Like I hear women say all the time, well, I gave him the ass and he bounced. Like why did he leave? And my question I always ask them is, what did you do to establish value with the guy? What did you do? And to hear this woman say that, I'm sitting just like, yo, man, women should be trying to establish value with men just as much as men are trying to establish value with us. If people want to stick around a little longer.
I get you. All right, we're running out of time. Let me get some real key points that I want to talk about real quick. All right, so you see the next topic. I want to share this next slide with you guys, and I want to hear your thoughts. Okay. Let's do this. Boom. And the next one will be.
She has a great smile, though.
Realize, especially here in Atlanta, I see more educated women who cannot deal with being around educated men. And I was like, well, what's the problem? You would think it would be a natural match, but it's about power. A lot of these women want to feel superior to men. Now, this is an issue in the West to where manhood, masculinity, manhood, that kind of stuff is cheap, but we're supposed to deify women. So I need you guys to understand that this is not just about an intimidation. It's the thing that women want to feel better than.
What happened?
That was it. I just want to share a quick clip. So basically, in essence, what he was saying is the educated women, do they want educated men, or do they feel intimidated, or do they want to rule over educated men? So obviously, Kevin Samuels is a huge flashpoint for men and women in the culture right now. So I did that on purpose to talk about it, to spark conversation. All right. So on that, does anybody have thoughts on what he just was talking about?
It's per person. We're all individuals. Not a single person is the same, even if you was a twin. You came out of the womb different. So if you have an education and you have a brain, use it, and you deservingly. That's what we should aim for, is like enlightenment, as well as, you know, whatever levels of gain that we can produce in life. For a powerful woman to come into my life, I honor it and I respect it. We talked about so many when we were talking about celebrities, right? But we hold them on a threat. We hold them to a threshold, or on a you know, on a, yeah, exactly. And so my point there is like, yeah, if I could have Beyonce, if I could have Michelle Obama, if I could gain myself to that stature, that's the man in the brain that I'm trying to produce on a daily basis. Do I think that a woman that is of stature, of power, of wealth cannot handle another man, stature, power, wealth? I'm going to just state it plain and clear. This is a woman's world. One, you stated it earlier. There are more women on this planet typically, you know, every day it changes, but typically there's more women on this planet than there are men. Women do not have a man's chromosome. Men have a woman's chromosome. Men cannot give birth, and we wouldn't want to. We don't have periods on a daily basis. And most of the time, even if it has something to do with the ubiquitous scale, gay, male, hetero, whatever, a woman could probably fix the problem if they just were able to give in the room. But most of the time, men go and fuck everything up. So our assumption as a man, or the man who was just speaking on this conversation, yeah, don't worry about it, Corey. I'm gonna get to my point. The man who was just speaking on it, yes, he has a powerful way of verbalizing this statement. But I think he's kind of lost in the notion that, one, he's generalizing, and two, if you go about your life thinking that you have to have somebody who's submissive, you know what I mean? That's your prerogative, but find a submissive person. If you go along your life knowing you're a dom, but you can also live with dominant people, or you can engage with dominant people, then that can also be your relationship. This goes for work as well as marriage, and then also in the bedroom. You know what I mean? Like, so at the end of the day, I don't think that that is actually true. I don't think that powerful women are just looking for dummies to then just rule over them and walk over them on a daily basis and make them do their chores and stay home and run the house. I, on the other hand, I know that I'm a dominant person, and I also hold myself to, you know, high IQ. So therefore, if I had somebody that I could also have as my partner in that same value, I think that's what you give as a power couple. That's what I would be looking for. So that partnership at the end of the day is probably going to develop more than me having a stagnant dead fish as my, you know, in my left corner.
Corey, go ahead, man. You want to jump in?
Stagnant dead fish. Damn. I feel you on that, Frank.
I already have a comment on this one, because I didn't quite understand. That's why I was like, why to stop? I was trying to get the gist of what he was saying. If someone can rephrase it, because I got kind of lost.
I'll play it again. Hold on.
Realize, especially here in Atlanta, I see more educated women who cannot deal with being around educated men. And I was like, well, what's the problem? You would think it would be a natural match, but it's about power. A lot of these women want to feel superior to men. Now, this is
All
right. So the first thing I'll say is what Frank said, Frank. And this is how the world is, man. I get everyone wants to be individuals. But if you got a class of 100 people and 70 students fail, is that a passing class, Frank?
No.
Not right. So
I'm not good at F words. I'm great at F words, and the fail ain't one of them. So I know there are other people like me, right? Like, you know, and I know there are women like me too. And so I know that some of those women like me.
Corey, get it out. What you saying?
So the point I'm trying to make.
What you saying? Frank was pandering to the audience?
Hey, I'm still ready to love and looking for mine. So if I'm selling myself, so be it.
Get it, Frank. Get it, dog.
Let's go. All right, Corey, go ahead.
No, it's unfortunately that I'm sorry. We make decisions in life based off of the success, not the. Well, I'm sorry. We make decisions based off the rule and not the exception. And so that's my reply to Frank. Like Frank, everything we do is based on the rule, not the exception. Because if that was the case, then a lot of our decisions would be a lot differently. And now, as far as what Kevin Samuel was saying about women wanting to be dominant, or I have seen energy like that where there are women who feel like, hey, look, my ovaries are just as big as your balls, and they try to insert that versus just being, hey, look, I recognize
you. Didn't say insert that. That don't insert it. That's the wrong terminology. That might have been a whole other conversation after that. You like me to cough? I've been on what happens? Go ahead, bro. I'm sorry. I'm silly, man. It's that time of night.
No, but I have seen women try to overly compensate in certain situations with men that they perceive to be either more powerful or on a higher level versus just letting their talent or their light shine. Like, hey, look, if you shining bright, you're gonna shine bright. You don't have to overdo it or press a situation. So I have seen it before. I have seen women really try to over emasculate themselves with men that they perceive to be more powerful or more higher educated or a higher earner. I've seen it versus just saying.
This leads into my next question, Edwin. And
can I jump in real quick on it?
Yes. Hold on 1 second, Jay. So
yeah,
this is basically my next slide was, are women too masculine? So you can incorporate both of those if you like. I just want to put that up, and Jay, you can talk about the subject and keep going.
And then bring it. Okay, yeah, I'll see if I can wrap them together. So just real quick, and I respect that, Corey, because that's a good point, right? Like as we get up in income and socioeconomic status, all the above, you're going to run into different situations. Now, here's what I think a lot of people aren't looking at. Everybody on this panel is educated men, okay? However, that may not be the average nationally, okay? Women, Black women, are the number one, the number one degreed category, right? So African-American women have gotten their bachelor's, then they've gone back and gotten their master's. Sometimes have gone back and got PhDs. Okay, brothers will go to 4 years and then we done, right? And so the thing is that as they've gotten more degrees, the income goes up. Now they're doing this, and brothers is doing this, right? And so you're gonna have these somewhat struggles if the other parts of the relationship aren't really there, in my opinion. So I've dated girls that make a whole lot more money than me, and I've dated girls that don't make as much money as me. At the end of the day, we had other things that established what our roles were in the relationship, and it wasn't just based on income. I show up as a man. So regardless of how much money you make, I'm still the same man. And I'm going to take care of stuff. I'm going to make sure I'm a gentleman. All the other things that go along with being a man are present. I'm also, I don't brag on myself, but I'm a dope ass dad. You know why? Because I put a lot of time and energy because that's important to me. So that to me is my definition of what a man is. So I think what we really look at, or what are we saying a man is, right? What's that definition? And if she's looking for something different, then maybe that's where the disconnect is, right? I've seen sisters, and I love a powerful sister. I come from a powerful mother. She's a bomb. She's a beautiful gangster. She walk in a room and presence and everything. Energy is there. So I'm attracted to women that are similar to that because that's what I grew up seeing. So that doesn't bother me, but I'm also very confident who I am as a man. And I'm not saying that anybody on this panel isn't, but I think some brothers, they're like, man, she's doing too much. Bro, what you doing? Right. If you doing your part, she's not really worried about you. She's gonna respect you. And that's my thoughts on it, man. So and as a caveat, there are some women that lead with their masculine energy, and I do get that, and that's off-putting to some men, including me. Like, if you're doing too much, baby, let me do my part, you do your part, we're gonna be good.
If you're literally doing too much,
you know the reason why that's the case.
Edwin, go ahead.
You know the reason why that's the case, Jay, because you said there are a lot of women that are out there that kind of lead with a masculine energy, and I think the reason why we deal with a lot of women that exhibit themselves like that is because there are a lot of men that are out there that are not handling their business the way that they're supposed to be handling business. Now, I'm not going to say that there's a traditional role that a man should play, but you got to realize, like, I think about my mom. My mom was a single mother, raised 4 kids, one of the kids handicapped. She had to step into a role where she had to be strong. She had to take a place that a lot of times men would typically stand in. And so that's why we deal with a lot of women right now. They're saying, hey, you know what? I encounter too many men that aren't handling their business. And I need to be with somebody that exhibits to me, hey, he can handle himself and at the same time lead. And it actually goes back to when you think about the term submission. A lot of times men say, hey, I'm looking for a woman to submit. It's not about a man leading over a woman or hoarding over a woman. It's more about the guidance, because submission goes both ways. And a woman is not going to fully submit to a man until he really truly shows her that he's able to even lead a family.
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Bro, I'm sorry.
Let me respond real quick. What I've noticed that women who lead with masculinity are women who do that are women who find that to be attractive in men. And a lot of times women think that attraction is symmetrical when it's not. So when I see women who doing that, they're looking for men that are very masculine, and they think that we as men are going to find the same thing attractive, and that's not the case.
So what Edwin was saying about submitting, right? So yes, that is biblical, but there's another part of that same exact scripture. Okay, the man submits to God, so God is leading that man, and the woman submits to that man. So she's submitting to that man, but that man is submitting to God. So literally, she's trusting the God that is leading him. People always forget that part. So if you about to run us into a brick wall, she can't trust you and submit to you, bro. Because you're supposed to be following God. God ain't gonna have you run into a brick wall. So if we do our part, then they can do their part, and that's all I'm saying, bro.
To my partner, Mr. Bradley, right next door, I'm just gonna state this: you hit a perfect, in my opinion, you hit a perfect statistic. There is another statistic that stands out to me always when it comes to Black African descent women. Right? They're the least appreciated. They're the most depreciated individual in the entire planet. We found that out during BLM protests, that statistic stands true on a daily basis, and it has been for the majority of time. So when you have individuals in your own community as well as external communities that are constantly putting you at a low point, lower position in occupation, lower position within their raises, lower position as in like the values that we give to them, the fact that we hypersexualize and then we fetish Black women, but we don't give them the attention when it comes to actual values of love. At that point, you want to stand out, and you're also fighting the system. And sometimes the system is literally the opposite sex. And so therefore, sometimes it is their notion, because of past relationships, past traumas, and past societal norms, that they have to stand up for themselves and be more aggressive. And we hate the notion of the angry Black woman. We hate the aggressor, but we put that on them. And within doing so, we do it a lot. I'm not saying we do it all the time, Corey, with your eyes, but I'm saying we do it a lot. And from that point in time, if somebody is constant, like you could have tough skin, you could be a thick person, but if nobody's showing you genuine care and you're constantly having to stand up for yourself, is it looking like it's masculine energy, or is it just looking like you're just taking care of your own pride and building yourself up? And at that point, I give grace, because the realization is, if you go back into their past history, typically the individuals that were given saying they have masculine energy, the truth is that they know damn well they have to stand up for themselves, because they're probably not getting respect otherwise.
I totally agree with that, man. Like I said, and again, closing, I disagree with that.
Yeah, close it out. We got to move.
All right, let's take it into sports, right? If Frank is the best basketball player on the court, right? Frank does not need to come in here with brand new J's on, headband, glasses, entourage, hooping and holler. I'm the best basketball player on the court. No, he gonna step on the court and Frank gonna be Frank, and everyone will see that Frank is the best basketball player on the court. So I say that to say that I'm sorry, it is what it is. It's my personal experience. I've had numerous conversations that a lot of women find masculine men to be attractive, and they feel as though that they're giving that out, thinking that men are going to find that to be attractive, and that's just not the case.
I don't disagree with that, Corey, by the way.
Gotcha.
It's per case. It's per case.
Yeah, it's per case. I don't disagree wholly, but yeah, it's per case. All right, so this is a lightning round, guys. We're not about to go 2 hours. It's 1:34. This is a lightning round. All right, so I got a question from a viewer saying, should men, she has a good, close relationship with a buddy, right? But she admitted that she had a crush on him at one point. All right, I'm gonna give you the context. He has now gotten married. She wants to be still close friends, right? The wife doesn't want to meet the friend, right? So my question is, should men or can men retain relationships with females after marriage? Lightning round. We got to be quick. Somebody go.
Yes, and yes, absolutely.
Set up for disaster.
No, I disagree with that. The answer is yes. And at the end of the day, it comes down to trust. Do you trust your partner? At the end of the day, because friends or no friends, if a man wants to cheat, he's going to cheat. If a woman wants to cheat, she want to cheat. There's nothing you can do to put in place to stop that. So,
all right, Edwin, go.
I would say yes, but most situations, most women aren't going to agree with it. So it's better to be able to have mutual friends that you all can just congregate together, because most women aren't going to be trusting in a situation like that at the end of the day. So,
all right, next, Jay, Frank.
If it's a girl that I've had some romantic dealings with, man, this is what I did in my marriage. I gotta respect my marriage. So I just don't want those influences, man. I'm an all in or all out.
They were never romantic, but she said she had a crush on him in the past. Go ahead.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't, just because I just don't want the influence in my relationship, bro.
Frank.
I'm gonna say that if there's a possibility that she's gonna try to step on the toes of your marriage, then she's not really your friend, and therefore you can't trust her. But if the fact of the matter is you have your own safety blanket, which is yourself, your discernment, your care for your marriage, you're not gonna mess that up. If she's actually your friend, she can be your friend before and she can be your friend after. That would be rude. You came in this relationship with me, to be quite honest.
Right. Yeah. So here's my 2 cents. When a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing. He leaves mother and father. If you leave your mother and father, I'm gonna leave a friend.
Everything else gone.
Oh yeah,
right.
Facts.
No, I'm just saying. I
can leave my friend.
No,
if
this
it's
is my
truly,
perspective. I'm just saying.
Go for it.
So what I'm saying is, if you enter into a marriage, like, bro, like, especially if your wife doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't want to meet her, like, hey, I'm focused here. This is my wife. Like, so it can never be the same. Now, if she wants it the same and she's not willing to do that, I would hate to cut her off completely. But if she doesn't respect that, then I have to move to my wife. I have to cling to my wife. So to this point, because her question was, she wants to maintain the same relationship. So he would give her intimate details about his life and dating. So who's to say the wife now doesn't know that? And now she's like, I don't want to meet her. We don't need to, because I'm the one now that you need to look towards. So I didn't give you the full context, but at the end of the day, I've got to lean to my wife. I've got to, if she's not cool with it, I got to move on. Sorry, boo-boo.
10 seconds. I had this happen in my marriage. When I got married, you go out, you're single, you have your little homegirls, this and that, or whatever case is. And the guys that I used to hang out when I was doing club stuff or whatever case is, hey, bro, I'm on something different now. The women, hey, bro, I'm on something different now. I got divorced. After the fact, we became good friends again. They were like, hey, that hurt my feelings. I'm like, I'm sorry. I was focused on the task at hand.
It's a job.
Those distractions I don't need.
Yeah. I gotta go to job.
That was for this season. I'm on a whole nother season. Like, you can't,
All right, next thing. Grown men in the chat right here. Do men care about body count anymore with women? Go.
I don't.
I don't.
I would say yes, but I would say don't tell me. I don't even want to know.
I never cared to count for myself, and to be quite honest, like earlier how I was talking about the young woman who went on the date, good judge of character. How you sleep with somebody, how many people you slept with, if you're not bringing anything to me, aka STI or ex-children or some shit, like, yeah, we solid.
Right.
Yeah. That's all I care about is how many babies you bringing. That's it.
So to me, no, I don't care. It's about the discernment from myself. Like, I'm going to see that you're a quality woman. If I decide to lay down with you, then you have made it to a point to me where I trust you. And your past, I had nothing to do with, nor do I want to, or like to Edwin's point, I don't want to know. You know what I'm saying? But, it's also stereotypical for us to then blame a woman or cast aspersions on a woman for having a high body count, we're all human beings. So at the end of the day, I agree with you guys. We're all mature men here. We know that there were men before us, and then when we put it down, hopefully there's not men after us,
How high is high? I mean, we talking about 1,000, or we talking about 50? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jay, real quick, on that right there, the high body count, right? So yeah, we glorify it as men. We talk about it all the time. So as men, if we're being honest about our body count, then and it's high, how can we then judge the individual?
Look, if I'm at 50 and she at 1,000. Nah, we ain't.
I mean, we're not all Will Chamberlain, you know what I mean?
That's the importance of not knowing the body count.
Yeah. We're not all Will Chamberlain.
Put it like this.
Over 100.
If she got Wilt numbers, I'm out.
Hold on. But put it like this: every experience that she's had or been through made her the woman that you fell in love with. So why would it matter?
I agree with all of that, but if she got Wilt numbers, I said what I said. I'm out. If we get to the restaurant and the valet, the busboy, the manager, the constituents, all of them, I'm out. I'm gonna pay the check and I'm out.
All right. Two ones left, guys. Two last ones. Here we go. All right, I'm gonna give you context on this. Boom. Y'all read that?
Hold on. I got a better question. Do men care about how many kids a woman has?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yep.
So
but it matters with the men though. If she has multiple kids by one man, I'm good.
Yeah.
But then because you have to deal with multiple people, and I think the same for women.
Right.
It's okay for a guy to have a child, but if you have multiple children by multiple women, these are different people.
It's a possibility for more drama than it could than not, right? And so yeah, like you said, it could be just one past ex person.
But that doesn't mean body count, though.
And I really don't care. That could also say, Brody, that could also say that they've been together since they were 18 and now we 30s and the 40s.
Are you saying that equals body count?
No.
That could mean that he's the only person they slept with, and that's the reason she out. She got born. And
my question is, what holds more value, the body count or how many kids you got?
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe for the next one. All right. So I got homeboys of mine, right? I talk to everybody. Every guy has group chat. So I talked to a couple of my homeboys that are single, and they about to go be intimate with a lady for the first time. A lot of these guys are big on the gas station pill.
No.
Because here, I'm gonna let y'all go because they're adamant about the first time they're about to put it down. Now, I will admit I've never tried a gas station pill, right? Not saying I'm better than I'm not better.
Real quick, is a gas station pill real or this is a metaphor?
No, it's a little red, yellow, black, blue pill striped that you get.
You just pick it up at the gas
station. Yeah, they're bullshit.
So my boys that I talk to are about to go be intimate with a lady for the first time. They get the gas station pill because in their mind, they got to put it down, set themselves apart. Now, I don't begrudge them for doing it. I've never done that. But at the same time, it's like, if you do that, now you set a precedent. Do you have to continue to do that? Like, so at the end of the day,
what if you get there and then she change her mind?
Right. I'm not
gas station filled up for no reason.
Baby,
you just
I'm not opposed to using gas station pills. I just never have before. So has anybody used a gas station pill?
I would never trust a pill at a gas station. It's like taking a 5-hour energy drink. I don't trust those either, right? So my thing is, all right, so one, I never shame an individual that has erectile dysfunction because that's probably why they would even consider using.
Well, no, look, hold on, Frank, hold on. Yeah. To your point, I'm like, damn, what's the matter? I don't have them problems.
Yeah.
Like, nah, bro, it's not that. They like, I'm trying to put it down.
Two circumstances there. So then they're saying they need more energy. Go take a testosterone pill, my nigga. But then on top of that, here, there's foolproof ways of doing this. Take it from the individual as a sex positive podcast. Don't jerk off for the first 2 days before going into it, right? You're gonna have some extra juice in the tank, my nigga. Like that's just naturally that works, right? Don't stimulate yourself to the extent at that point when it's on because now you're fully aroused. Now you have all of your energy. Now you are stimulated to an extent that just a little touch or the stroke, maybe back of the neck, a kiss on the cheek, bang, you busting it open. No, and then on the portion of the pill, you said you've never taken it. I've said I've never taken it. I haven't taken it because I don't trust what's inside of it, and I won't put anything that I don't trust inside of me. And also, I don't think it's real, so it could have an adverse. It could have an adverse effect. So at that point, the only thing you're getting out of it,
effect.
yeah, is a placebo effect. Well, you better placebo that you a good long stroker, and you got this, my G. Like,
but so who I'm talking to is healthy guys that don't have this problem, but they want to put it down.
No.
Has anybody ever taken the gas station pill before, or do you see, or you have friends who you talk to have taken the gas station pill or some form of that?
Yo, go get some. Look, if you can get over-the-counter COVID cards, you can get yourself some real Viagra and actually know that thing is going to work. Just make sure it's going down tonight. Like, but the gas station pill, no way in hell. Look, I'm quality on this side, bro. I put real minerals and vitamins inside.
Right, I drink my beet juice every day, man. Anybody else? All right, so listen. My question to the chat, though, ladies. If you know you're about to be intimate with a man for the first time, do you do anything extra to put it down, to set yourself stand out?
Yeah, why?
Not you.
What did she say?
She said, yeah, wash.
I think that's a good thing, though. Like, if you get to a date and, you know, like, I think women, I've talked to women, where they shave, they make sure everything is nice and neat, you know. Another thing is, if I've been on a date and I notice she didn't shave her legs, I'm like, yeah, I know she had no plans of it's not going
right. No,
if she didn't shave her legs and she had no plans, right, of hooking up with you, but let's say you did. At that point, you did a good job, my friend. Not only did you convince her, but yeah, so like there is like that one up for yourself, that one portion of the checklist. I would say, to answer the question, do we then treat it as if we're also the individuals who need to take care of our beauty and our circumstances, manscaping, grooming, whatever it may be, making sure that, maybe not into manis and petties, but get the oil from changing your car, oil, get the motor oil out your nails, whatever. The other circumstances smell well. You know what I mean? It's the simple things that are always going to accentuate it. Plus pheromones in general are going to help you.
This
so
boy brought pheromones. Damn.
I'm tightening everything up, man. I feel like you should lead with what you want. So if I expect her to bring her A game, I'm gonna bring my A game, man. I'm gonna jump in the shower before. I'm gonna, do whatever escaping I might need to do, whatever case is, and make sure it's presentable, man. We're gonna have a good time.
Right. All right. Last
Pause.
question.
It feels
guys.
weird having talking about that with y'all, man.
Right. I know. Last question, guys. Go ahead, Corey.
That out your head.
Corey, gotta say so.
Well, I need some help.
If it's manscaping, dog, you ass out, bro.
Corey, Corey, we can talk.
No. When I say I need some help, this is a real life situation, right? I'm going through right now. Since y'all here, I figured I would. It's a young lady I've been dating that I'm really, really feeling, and no, we're not in a relationship, but I want to go to couples counseling, and I cannot get her to agree to go. Can I get some?
You got to be a couple before you go to couples counseling, bro.
Here's my reason behind this. Here's my reason behind that. Because my thing is that I'm a big proponent of setting the tone, like whatever you do before you get into a relationship, what you're gonna do once you're in a relationship, right? So that's one thing. And I want, like my mom told me, she says, Corey, the best time to prepare for war is during peace and not during war. And so my thing is, I know from a history that most people have issues with communicating or feeling safe, or just issue with communicating. So I just want to go, not because there's something wrong. I want us to go so that we can, like with a job, every time you get a new job, there's some level of training. So I want to go because I want to be able to communicate with her better and learn now how to properly communicate with her, so that it will come when the shit hits the fan, we have the tools to be able to effectively communicate through it. But I can't get her to understand that. She thinks the way you're thinking. Well, we're not in a relationship. Well, I'm like, well,
here's the part where you can do your work. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. My first question would be, Corey, have you expressed to her what you just told us?
Yes.
Okay. Next thing is, you have to meet her where she's at. at the end of the day, you can't force people out of their comfort zone until they're ready. You lay down what makes you happy. And then once y'all, in her mind, she may feel like you guys need to be closer, more intimate, not sexually intimate, but mindset, like aligned more intimately. She may be willing to do that. So to her, did you ask her what her timetable is? Is she open to it at all?
At first, she said that she was open to it, right? Because I think she thought I was just blowing smoke. And so I'm like, all right, I got the appointment set, blah, 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 blah. And then she hits me back the day of, oh, well, I changed my mind. Next text comes back, well, we haven't been dating that long. And I'm like, shorty, it's not because something is wrong. I just want to learn how to better communicate with you. I want some training so that when the shit hits the fan, we're able to talk it through versus when most people, when it hit the fan, oh, it's a problem, I'm out, I'm leaving. Versus like, look, it's just it's a lot of times, a lot of relationships, in my opinion, fall short because there's a communication issue.
I got you. All right,
let's I feel like that's,
Jay, go ahead.
I feel like it.
Hello, you got muted.
Yeah, my AirPod went out. Y'all can hear me? Yeah, so I think at that point, bro, it's just you can't lead somebody to something that they don't want to go to, kind of what Rasheed was saying. But at the end of the day, you can take and do your part, which means go to counseling by yourself. Talk about the relationship with your counselor by yourself. And then at a certain point, when y'all get to that point, because anytime you improve yourself, you'll always improve the situation. You know what I mean? Even when she's not there. She doesn't have to be present for y'all's communication to rise up a level, because it starts with where we are, right? Because we're leading.
Once again, like I said, everything that you're saying, I agree with you. I've been trying to do that, but like I said, I just learned. From past experiences, from my personal experience, other people's personal experiences, I've seen a lot of relationships that could have gone on to be great relationships fall short because the couple just didn't learn how at that moment, didn't learn how to effectively communicate with each other enough so that when the problem does hit, and she's an awesome woman, I'm just like, well, I don't want to make the same mistake that I had in my previous relationships where I'm waiting. I mean, yes, I worked on myself. I try to listen more, try to understand more, be more patient. But once again, communication is like dancing. If my partner doesn't know how to dance or doesn't want to dance, I can't dance for myself.
No, that's true.
I'm just trying to figure out how.
I think you have to, and we'll finish up. I know I keep saying that, but I think you'll have to continue to tell her how you feel. And then at the end of the day, know that you can't control another person. So at the end of the day, put all your chips on the table and be okay with them not falling the way you want them to fall. That's all you know what I'm saying? That's just all I could say about it. But in that, man, I did not want to go 2 hours, but we're an hour and 50 minutes.
It was 2 hours? I thought it was like 30 minutes.
Yeah, well, that's what's up. I hope all the viewers thought that as well. But closing shots, guys, if y'all want to say anything before we leave, promote whatever you got going on. Tell us whatever. I thank everybody for joining us. Go ahead, and I'll let Frank go ahead and say what you got to say. Closing remarks.
Wait, real quick. You had a question at the bottom, dating after RTL. We just don't have time for
it. I scrapped it. I didn't want to go over 2 hours, but
fair enough. Nah, it's cool.
Okay, who's still single? And if you're still single, are you dating or are you open?
I'm open and would love to date, but I also have always been somewhat picky and cautious, and I'm gonna stay that way. The next relationship I get into, I hope is the last one, for real.
And Jay?
Dating, man. I spend, we work so hard, man, and get kids. So it's kind of like I'll make myself available when it's something that's really that I, like Frank was saying, man. I think after being after the show, man, you're like all that dating stuff. Like, look, we gonna do this or what? Like, like the conversations get real quick. Like first, second, third day, we married, kids. You want that? Like, it's real quick.
And obviously, we know Corey's dating, and so.
But it's funny, bro. It's funny you said that because I felt the same way. I was like, yo, I'm tired of chewing all the fat. Let's get to the meat of it, man. I'm like, yo, I'm ready to be in a relationship. Like,
I'm looking forward to courting somebody. I'm looking forward to actually taking a woman out, like really exposing the reason why I believe I'm a special individual, right?
That's what's up.
But it's energy and it's time. And the reason that I took the leap of faith with RTL was, one, it's an extravagant, extreme way of possibly being able to tell your kids how you met your mother, right? But at the same time, you know, my willingness to do so was because like I love love. And so with that, I truly don't, and if I'm being blunt, I don't love dating. I don't love going on dates with just the notion of having a good time, or maybe just, you know, like today it feels good and then we'll figure out the next day. Like I like assurances, you know what I mean? So there's got to be some real value in between the individual that I'm going out with. You know, and dare I say it, that's exactly the way I felt about Mumin. But at the end of the day, obviously it didn't work itself out. But the truth is like, did I want it to? Absolutely. And so therefore, I'm going into my next relationship in that same exact value. And I'm not just going to force anything. And I will have very candid, honest conversations. It's just who I am. But if somebody can deal with that portion of me, then they can deal with the rest of me. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I think we had a unique experience of getting the chance to see yourself outside of yourself in dating situations and say, okay, I did this well, but I need to be a better example of this or do that. So I learned a lot, man. And I think when you go through the process, you realize how much energy it really takes if you're really going to do it the right way. So it's not that not willing to. It's like, man, that's a lot of energy. And if I find the right person, I'm all in. But you don't want to waste it, right? So, yeah. Respectfully, I respect that, bro.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate the time. There's other things we want to get into, but hey, we're going at 2 hours. Obviously, everybody knows I'm in a relationship, and
you found love?
Yay!
So, thank you guys for joining me. And hey, Frank, I might have a cool story to tell my kids. I met somebody on a reality TV show.
For sure, right?
Hey, thank you guys.
Hey, they can see y'all's first kiss. You know what I mean? Bring your mom in the back of the truck with me.
Right.
So thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate it. We got to do this again. I promise, audience, I'll make it a little shorter. This is my first time, but hey, we just talking off the cuff. I appreciate you guys. I know you got a lot going on. Shout out to you guys. Anything you got coming up, Corey, that you need people to know about?
Right now we're just filming a TV show that I wrote and produced called DC Undercover right here in DC. So we are still looking for extras, actors. Just if you're in the DMV area and you want to get your feet wet, we are currently shooting a full half season of.
They can DM you for that, Corey. How can they reach you?
They can reach me on. They can DM me either on BFit DC or they can DM me on First Day King.
Okay, First Day King. Frank, what you got coming up, man?
So first portion is I own a beverage brand called Darren Kombucha Cocktails. It is a first of its kind, first to market. And with that, I'm producing my brewery right now up in Baltimore. So looking forward to finalizing that and then going into large scale production. But it's kombucha, hard pressed juice, and then actual premium spirit in 12-ounce slim cans. And it's bomb. And I can't wait for the world to have it. Plus to be incorporated into an industry that doesn't have much melanin representation for owners and operators. Like I'm planning on crushing that shit.
I love that. I love that.
The other behind that, I have a product that I've been creating for the last 7 years and I'm in the final stages of, so they're going to go hand in hand. They're in a foot race right now to see which one's going to finish first. But it's called Drink Lock Reverse Coasters, and it's a coaster mat that deters the possibility of beverage contamination or predatory assault. And with that, it is, it's as simplistic as it sounds, but also it's basically the condom of the beverage world. It becomes a physical barrier that tells you whether or not somebody's broken the seal to let you know if you can continue drinking your drink in a social drinking environment. So I feel very high on that. Like that is my true love child because I think the societal notions of it and then the reform that it could bring are a big deal. So I own the first patent of that and I'm trying to finalize the foolproof prototype right now, the second prototype. And then I'm going to let that swing and I'm just going to be a component of, positive beverage consumption as well as, the lack of rape culture that needs to be presented in the world. And finally, I'm writing a quotations coffee table book, little small book called Consume with Whiskey, that breaks itself down in 3 categories. Go, which is the entrepreneurial spirit and quotes of that nature of motivation. Savage, which is basically the way I operate on a daily basis. You know what I mean? But in the essence, it's the enlightenment of just having fun and enjoying life. And then the final entity is love. And each one is uniquely thoughts of my that come specifically from my brain, but hopefully resonate with people and just give them a little bit of shine on a daily basis. So those are the 3 things I'm just cranking out right now, and we'll see when they all hit, and I'll be sure to promote it then.
All right, let's go to the OG. Jay, what you got going, man?
OG, triple OG. No, man, just real estate, bro. I've always been in real estate in the 22nd year in the real estate, man. Company's doing well. IG is J Brad. I won't go into all of that stuff, man. Just JAYBRAD, man. That's it. That's me.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. And for those of you who don't know, I have another YouTube channel called Car Gods, CARGAWDS, and it shows kind of my everyday dealings with my clients, maybe celebrities, entertainers, business professionals, and you see the inner workings of that. And thank you guys so much. More content to come. A lot of people said a lot of the ladies said they love the barbershop, so maybe we'll do this again. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Remember to subscribe and like Ages and Stages, the podcast. Stay tuned for more. Until then, we out. Thanks, fellas.
Appreciate y'all, man. Night, John boy.
Good night, y'all. Have a good one.
Peace.